What is up, YouTube? Gravity Trades here with another weekly stock market outlook predictions where I see the market going. Big events happening this week. Earnings we should be keeping an eye out for. Anything I'm watching in particular. Plays I'll be looking for. Everything like that. This one's going to be for the week of July 20th to July 24th, 2020. Without wasting any more time, I like to try to make these as quick as possible. We're going to get right into it. Let's just... There we go. We got the markets open right now. These are the futures we have on the left side here. We have the oil, light crude oil future open, and here on the right we got the S&P 500. First off, let's go to the dailies on each of these. Start with the oil first, and then we'll switch over to the Dow or NASDAQ. All week last week, oil kind of just still trading sideways under the 200 SMA. Just been riding the 20 here. Yeah, the 20 SMA here. It's been riding the 20. It's been gone. If you look, slight uptrend on the daily. You can draw here, slight uptrend, but we have to see a bounce this week coming up. So oil's going to be one I'm going to be keeping an eye out on due to the fact it's been going sideways, squeezing on the TTM squeeze. Could be getting ready for a big move. Up or down, I don't really know. It will dictate the market though. If oil dumps, the market will follow because the market runs off of oil. No matter what people tell you, I'm a firm believer that the market runs off of oil, because if you look here, oil started dumping, the market was still going up, and then oil just got absolutely hammered. The market started coming down with coronavirus. Oil got to $6.50. Market was at its lowest at the same time. Kind of correlate together here. So if we move into the 5-minute on oil, you can see it opened, opened sideways, didn't really open up or down, and sold off a little bit once it opened. Nothing much really happening with oil. A big drop when the market dropped as well. We had an overall market drop at, what time is this? 21. We had an overall market drop, which is, I don't really know what that was called. It was on big volume for future hours as well, so it's kind of interesting. We're gonna move on. Let's just move on to the S&P here on the right. So we're on the 5-minute. Let's go back to the 1 day, 1 hour. Last week I predicted that we would stay sideways. I said if we were to go up, we would not reach above 30, 32, 31, or like not close above it. Like that was my max for the S&P. And as you can see, we opened Monday morning came. We had some Moderna news about their drug being super successful in phase 2 trials on like 45 patients or something. It wasn't too many. And we took off. We gapped up heavy. We reached 32.26, but it didn't hold like most vaccine days. We just the market pops up, overreacts, and then it just sells off hard. Then the next day, Tuesday, we just sideways again. We had dropped. We recovered towards the end of the day, and it just closed basically right where it's open. Really boring day. You don't have much like the moves. You have to find individual stocks that are moving because the overall market is just ranging in the worst chop that I've seen in a while, so it's just killing contracts. The next day, what is this, Wednesday, we gapped up again. We had some more news. Oh, actually, the Monday was not vaccine, was different vaccine. I think maybe Pfizer or something was Monday. We had vaccine news, we sold off. Then we had Tuesday, nothing happened, and then we had the Moderna news about their new vaccine and not new vaccine, but their trials. Then we hit highs, so 32, 34 in like the pre-market, I think it was. Then we came back down during the market and we closed. What did we close? 32.21 is what we closed. Then Wednesday was our Tuesday? Yeah, because this is today. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. No, this is Thursday. Wednesday we had the news, big news day. This is Thursday. We came up, tried to test the highs again. We fell back down. A lot more COVID cases and COVID news that we've had recently pushed us back down. Friday, same thing. We didn't really go anywhere. We stayed sideways. We came down some. And today we opened sideways, but like you saw, I'm gonna zoom in now to the 5 minute. As you can see, we opened fine. We opened sideways. We worked our way up some. And then we had this heavy sell-off for like 20 minutes here. Increase tons of volume, and it just came down. Like I said, I don't really know what it reacted off of, the overall market, but yeah, we came down. Now we're working our way back up here. But I don't know. We have so much time until open. It's 11:33 p.m. If you can look at the bottom of my screen, you'll be able to tell. I'm on the East Coast, so there's plenty of time for this to recover and pop back up on the S&P and the Dow. Same thing. The Dow opened sideways, went up, dropped down. That's the NASDAQ, though. NASDAQ last week, I'm going to do this real quick, because the NASDAQ was one last week that was trailing behind a lot and pulling everything down some. The big tech companies were slow last week. Not much happening. So here we opened sideways, barely made any moves higher, just continue sideways and dumped with the overall market on whatever news we had. I'm not too sure what it was. But if we look at the daily chart, look at the NASDAQ last week. This was Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday. Monday we hit the highs, and then it just sold off. And then Tuesday, nothing happened. We sold off, and we recovered some before close, but we still came down a lot. Wednesday we barely moved on the NASDAQ. Then Thursday we had a red day, came down, and then Friday we had a small green, barely any movement, and then now we're back to red again. So personally, I think the NASDAQ's going to come down here or continue sideways. Very overextended. Tech has been leading this whole COVID recovery right now. Tech, it was all about tech, all the money flowing into tech. So I'm looking for some of it to start coming out, especially with the Netflix bad earnings that Netflix had last week. I pointed them out as like a key earnings play last week. Like if they did good, the market was going to skyrocket. But they reported some poor earnings last week. If we let's just go to like the 2 minute. Right here, Thursday, after market close, they had earnings, and they were not very good, and they dumped. They went all the way down to 449.65. They recovered some in the after hours and pre-market, but barely any. And then look at this. Look at Friday. They traded sideways all day. This is the most boring day for Netflix. Absolutely nothing. So now we're going to move on to some things I'll be watching this week. I think I covered all the big indexes and what to keep an eye out for. First thing I recommend everyone to watch is AstraZeneca. We saw this on Friday just absolutely explode. Slow open, and then it just ran all day long because they have news coming out on Monday the 20th, July 20th, of their COVID vaccine, their test results, and they're supposed to be very good. A bunch of articles already came out reporting news about it. So the investors just Moderna had their great results, and people didn't want to miss it. So money started flowing into AstraZeneca on Friday, and it popped off. It was, what did it open? It opened where 57.65, and it closed 61.10, and like after hours it hit 64.37. This 6% move, 7% move was insane for AstraZeneca. If we go back, look at these previous days. This Thursday did absolutely, it just slow. It was red day for it. It gapped down in pre-market. Wednesday, a small move higher, but kind of still didn't finish much higher. This was considered a big move for AstraZeneca on Wednesday. Tuesday, Monday, absolutely no movement on AstraZeneca. We pull up the daily chart. This thing is so boring, so slow. It just has gap up, gap downs, and then we just exploded off of the potential news that they're having a great vaccine coming soon. Huge volume on it, everything. So this is one I'll be watching close this week. It could just keep blasting higher, but if the news comes out and you start seeing this thing sell off, it would not surprise me to see it come back down to this 23.6 fib, which is around like 55.42, or like to the bottom of these 56.17 area. That first stop I would look for it to come back down to is the 58.90. Then we'll have 57.40, and then we'll be down to this fib. But if it's bad, it might gap down when the article's released. You have no time to even play it. So I'll be keeping a close eye on AstraZeneca this week. I also have earnings pulled up somewhere. Right here. Here's some earnings I have. So we got Monday. We can't really play any of these. After close, keep an eye on Logitech IBM. May take a little run-up play for Logitech. Not too sure yet. We have Snap on Tuesday. Snap's one to be keeping an eye out on. With all the TikTok drama and everything we've had recently. Like getting banned in China. Not in China, but in the US. This could come out as a front runner, like social media app. Because Twitter's been under fire as well. So I'll be looking at Snap closely to see how they report. And maybe at the continuation play after they report. We have Coke on Tuesday before open. Not really going to watch any of these. iRobot's a big mover. I think last time they had good earnings, they moved a lot. We have Biogen on Wednesday before open. Thermo Fisher. These two are going to keep an eye out on. Both biotechs. And the ones that everyone's been probably most excited for. Tesla and Microsoft are this week. We have them Wednesday after close. Tesla's probably going to go insane this week. I have no idea what it's going to do, so I'm not going to touch it. Like, premiums are jacked on it all the time, so I'm staying away from that. Watch for a continuation after, because if they report like extremely good earnings, this thing will fly. Like, it would probably, it will reach 2,000 if they report some really good earnings. It would easily reach 2,000. Or if they report like semi-good or subpar or bad, I would watch this thing, like Tesla, to dump hard. Microsoft, keep a close eye out on also. They're at all-time highs. Tech has been leading for so long, and tech has slowly been pulling back this past week. So I think that they might pull back some before their earnings, and you can get a potential earnings run-up play into them before Wednesday. But I think Microsoft will report good earnings, but I'm not going to play it. Never play earnings. Way too much of a risk. You usually lose even if that goes your way, because you usually need a big move due to the IV crush and theta at the same time. So I just skip out and I play before the earnings or after the earnings, never through the earnings. Also going to be watching Twitter and Intel. We have airlines coming up this week as well, so keep a close eye on those. And Friday before open, we don't really have too much interesting. Maybe American Express, Verizon. Yep. Depending on how AT&T is, we'll kind of know how Verizon's going to do. They kind of go around the same. Like, we saw one bank. We had banks last week, like Wells Fargo did poor, but JPM did super good. And because JPM wasn't the weakest of the banks and Wells Fargo was, we kind of saw that the other banks that weren't like beat down extremely hard this coronavirus will do probably fine, and which they did. Bank of America did good. Goldman Sachs did super good. So they all did good, but they didn't really move because the market was no one's really in banks right now. So because a lot of banks have their money aside waiting for loans and stuff like that. So people aren't really in banks, but like I'm trying to point out, if this one or two of the bigger companies in the sector do well, majority of the other companies that are like around the same size to do the same thing usually report about the same earnings. So I'll be keeping a close eye on that. They're all like the earnings plays I'll be watching this week. Let's just put oil back up here. This is oil. The market's slowly recovering, like I said earlier, but that's all I got for this video. My outlook for the market, I think we're going to go up this week. I'm feeling bullish. I don't know. We have to see if we can break this 32.30 mark. If we can break that, we're definitely head back up. But it really all depends on the news. We're acting exactly like a biotech right now. If we get good news of a vaccine, this market's going to go boom and shoot back up. We get bad news on a vaccine, boom, we're going to come down. And I also forgot this. A lot of states, COVID is coming back. Lots more infections, deaths, everything. So states are starting to go backwards in their plans to reopen and close shit down again. So I'll be really careful watching the news, because as more states decide to roll back reopenings, the market will react and come down, because we just opened back up the economy and now people are starting to shut it. We have to start shutting it down again because people aren't wearing masks, people aren't doing this or that, and the virus is spreading a lot and infections are going up like crazy fast. So keep a close eye on that, because as more states start shutting down again, this market will react. Keep an eye out on Florida and New York and see what they do. I know Texas is doing stuff, California is doing stuff, Pennsylvania is doing stuff. So I would just watch that news. Don't have all your eggs in one basket. Don't be completely long. Don't be completely short. If you're going long, have some hedges set up. If you're going short, have some long hedges set up. Be prepared for whatever this market is going to throw at you, because it's like it's a kangaroo market. I think it says CNN or whatever. It goes up and down. It moves so much throughout the day, and you don't want to get caught on the wrong side of one of their moves, because it will destroy your account and blow up your portfolio if you're not hedged correctly or you're in too big. And yeah, that's all I got for this video. Good luck trading, everyone, and I'll have a video later in this week. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next week.